if our students, our people are not going to be treated right in your universities, we are not going to allow any African person or to come into Ukraine to study.
So this is Barry TV, and the toad does not run in the daytime for nothing. It's either after something or something is after it. And you know, Barry TV doesn't just move around. You know, there is always something that triggers Barry TV to have a show. All right, so today I have a wonderful guest with me. I don't need to call him in. He's already right here. And we have to dive into the most trending news and the most current news, of which Barry TV is the only show that will give you the details. All right, so we're going to have a discussion on the most trending news. In Ukraine, a lady that, killed herself or committed suicide. How do you call it? All right, it's a very sad news. And so I have a guest here, and I'm going to get his opinion on what happened. Before then, I'm going to read some of the posts that the bloggers and we've gotten from sources, so that we can have an overall view of what is happening. They said in Ternopil, a student from Nigeria committed suicide due to problems at the university. Law enforcement authorities suspect that she drank poison. According to the police communication department of the Ternopil region, according to Terminovo, the student killed herself because of a failed exam. Because of the death of the girl, foreign university, because of the death of the girl, foreign university students protests. The dead body was discovered by a resident of the city near the house of her classmates. An eyewitness called the police, and the student was hospitalized in a state of clinical death. The doctors failed to save her. On the same day she was visiting friends, she left a farewell note in their house. On Friday, hundreds of foreign students gathered in the assembly hall of Ternopil University. In their opinion, the student died precisely because of the university. Foreigners required that the requirements for students in exams are not so stringent, and they seek the dean's release. All right, so this is some of the bloggers, posts that we have. We have a lot of them. So I think as time goes on, I'll have to pick point maybe led to the death of this young lady. Okay, so the lady's name is Badmus Ololade Rafiat, the late. All right, so you're welcome to my show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to my show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so please, before we start the show, can you tell us your name before whatever it is that we have to do?
Yeah, my name is Thomas Eugene Mensah. That's all.
All right, so before then, we are in Kyiv. We are so versatile. We move everywhere, we go anywhere for the interview. All right, so we are in Kyiv, Ukraine, and we have a wonderful guest who is going to share something with us. And I precisely picked him because, Najimudo. Go and ask a Ghanaian what it means. All right, so I know that maybe you've heard about this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a sad story, actually. So we want to know, why do you think that this thing that happened should really happen? Is it supposed to be like that? Or what do you think, what do you make of this whole story about the lady?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. I would like to, first of all, express my condolence to the family of our late sister. It's actually sad, and we pray that something of this nature should not be happening. This is not what we wish for. We wish that as students or as people who have traveled all the way from Africa and other continents to come here to study in Ukraine, we will have a good environment so that we can study very soundly and live back to our various countries to also help in the development of our countries back home.
Great.
So back to your question,
Yeah.
that should this happen? Actually,
Okay, first of all, are you aware of it?
yes, of course. We all heard about the sad demise of our sister, that she took her own life,
Yeah.
which is bad. And from what I have read, or news that I have read, some are attributing the fact that the rules in certain universities in Ukraine are such strict that it makes it difficult for some of the students, and that she failed an exam,
Yeah.
a pre-croc or a croc exam in her final year, and she decided to actually take her own life.
Yeah. The story I heard was that she was seeking transfer from her school because she had to go complete somewhere else because the school is failing to, settle her case when she failed the exam. So she was trying to transfer to a different city, and then the school is refusing the transfer because she needed a transcript from the school, and the school is refusing it, and the school doesn't also want to go ahead with the process that she could write her final exam or something like that. And then the only option she was left with was to go back to Nigeria and then come with a new visa. And then that was where she realized that she had lost hope. And I don't know, could this be the fault of parents or her fault, or the relationship? Because at least sometimes I feel like if the parents are very close to this lady and would not give her pressure when anything of this sort happens, or her friends are around, I think it will give her a peace of mind, even if she had to go back home. So what do you think? What do you think the whole, the fault should be concentrated?
Once again, I will say thank you for the question. You see, the topic we are talking about is very important to me, because talking about suicide, we need to delve into several factors that actually leads to suicide in communities. You understand? There is not even a single country that people do not commit suicide.
Yeah. But pertaining to this particular girl, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm drawing whatever I'm saying.
It's leading to what? Okay,
exactly.
I get.
Now, when I say that, what I mean is that we need to look at some of the factors that contribute or that brings about suicide.
Okay.
And let me give a brief history about one philosopher who wrote an important book about suicide. His name is Emil Durkheim. And you cannot talk about suicide without mentioning Emil Durkheim. And he actually brought about 4 types of suicide. And it summarizes why people commit suicide. You understand? So when I take it, or as the interview goes on, you will come to understand why our dear sister committed this suicide.
Okay.
Now, he based it, one, on social factors. Social factors. And looking at the types of suicide that he actually brought about, he mentioned 4 types. The first one is egoistic suicide.
Okay.
And we have altruistic suicide, we have anomic suicide, and we have fatalistic suicide. These are the types of suicide that Emil Durkheim wrote about. Now, when you want to talk about the egoistic suicide, it happens when people feel that, or people are distanced from the society.
Okay.
When people are distant, they do not come closer to people, they don't discuss, they don't have the chance to discuss problems with people. Now, when they are faced with certain challenges, they find it difficult to speak out to people. You understand me? So
Okay.
when that happens, it is very easy for them to take their life because they think that I have no one to discuss my problem with.
Is taking life that easy in the minds of so many people?
It is not that easy, but well, I don't want to go to the other side of it because suicide itself, for me, in my personal perspective or understand, I know that it has its spiritual aspect of it. Yeah.
Are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I'm a Christian. I'm a
All right,
Christian. You know
okay.
it. You know it.
Okay.
So, and back to what I was discussing.
Yeah.
The opposite of the egoistic is the altruistic, where people are too integrated in the social life to the extent that they want to actually take their life on behalf of people just for them to be seen as, let's say, heroes.
Okay.
You understand? And this is where we have people like, now we have suicide bombers. You understand that? They are true integrated.
Okay.
Now I'm coming down to our sister's own.
All right.
Now, back to the anomic. The anomic one, it's when it happens when there is actually a change in the life situation of someone. Let's say someone going to bankruptcy, someone who is seen to be rich going into bankruptcy,
Okay.
someone whom people have belief in, like maybe can be good academically and then fail some exams. You understand? That alone can cause the person to actually take
Their lives.
their lives. And the last one is also based on strict rules, such as that of the administration. You understand it? Okay, so what is wrong? Anyone can fail an exam. You understand that anyone can fail an exam, but in a situation where someone fails an exam and there are no laid down procedures and processes that the person can pass through or take to actually, they may be compared to take their life. So discussing that of our dear sister, I think it can be like that of anomic mixed with fatalistic. It can be like the parent have high expectation in her. They believed in her to a certain level in such a way that they think that she thinks that what exactly am I going to tell my parent, or what exactly will friends think about me, what exactly are my family going to say about me. All these things add up to the frustration that she was going through the schools administration and all that stuff. I think that pushed her.
The girl?
Yeah, family is in Ukraine.
Oh. Okay, so according to the bloggers, okay, I think it wasn't basically because she failed the exam, but I think it was because of the problems pertaining to her transfer, and she trying to move on with a different method or a different approach. So from your mind or from your own perspective, all right, what do you think that other people out there should do in case of this thing happening around them? Because people really get depressed, especially when you have realized that this is 6 years of medical school, and you know how stressful it is, and then somebody just out of the blues, you have to go back home and come back, and all these things is very, very traumatizing.
Yeah.
You know, right? And so what do you think that in this case if somebody else that is watching us, who is in Ukraine or anywhere part of the world, I mean, how do you think they should handle this then? How do you think it's going to reduce? I mean,
you see, it's what I mostly say is that as human beings, we need to understand certain things, and we need to understand that things of such nature in our academic journey can happen to anyone. So what I normally advise people is that as young ones, or as the youth that we are coming up, we need what we call the advice team. I call them the A team. I have a personal advice team. It's made up of about 5 people who are like 5 grown-ups that I look up to them in any situation of my life. If I'm going through some problems, they are the kind of people that I speak to them so that they can give me various advice.
Okay.
This is what I will encourage most students and other in Ukraine and any other country to have this advice team, so that whenever they are faced that, and they should not be just any other person or any other people, they need to have people who have
They look up to or something.
exactly, they have this a bit of technical know-how about education and its problems, so that when it happens this way, they can now
And
again
from the look of things, you know, some people are, I mean, they are used to the fact that they can go through a lot of stress. Maybe this lady, for instance, as I saw her picture, she's probably a DB. She might have not gone through any difficulty in life. Those young ones that are around, who have never gone through any hardship, they've never slept at a vexal before, they've never even gone hungry for a day. I mean, they've never gone through anything. So, is there any way that they can really, I mean, get acquainted with such things if they should happen? Because it's going to be like, this is the first time it's happening to them.
Yeah.
How is it going to, do someone have to,
Yeah.
I mean.
Actually, I will say one funny statement. Education itself is not like being in school is not like being in the military barracks. This is what you need to know. So whether they are 15 years, they are 17 years, they have every right to be in school. Now, we need to also look at it from this point, that is the school or our universities in Ukraine really giving pressure, unnecessary pressure, to students or not?
Okay.
Now, when we look at it and we find out that yes, indeed, there are certain things that could have been done easily for those unnecessary pressures to go down, then we can also tackle it. And one thing that we need to do as foreign students or international students is to have a formidable how do you call it, union
Yeah.
that will fight on some of these things. Because when you look at, I've personally have a lady friend who went through this situation, and later on she had no choice than to go back home. Now what happened? The student, the school said that one, they've expelled her because she failed croc 1. Okay, good. If she failed croc 1, you said you've expelled her. She came to take her transcript to transfer to another university. You delayed her. You made sure that the time for transfer
It's passed.
is over before you gave her the transcript. What's she going to do with the transcript around this time?
Yeah.
She had no choice to go back home. You understand that?
Yeah.
So some of the school authorities too need to be put in their right place. Now, who can do that? And that is why you remember, I don't want to bring, you remember back in Poltava, I told you that you people should come and see me so that we can go to the dean's office and maybe the rector's offices of various universities, so that we can actually tell them that we are the leadership of students in Poltava, and they cannot take any decision against students without our consent.
Yeah. But you located, you run away.
It's all parts of life, you know. Wherever life carries you to, you need to move on. So back to the what I was saying, it is very serious. We need to have, if we have Ghanaians, we need to have a strong Ghana Student Association that is vibrant on certain issues. If Nigerians, we need to have that, and then on top of that, we need to have like a big family of all, like, let's say, African Union, Ghanaian Union. Sorry, like African Student Union. That is going to fight on some of these things. It needs to change. It needs to change.
True. I'm about to shake a table, but I mean, those who are on top would understand. There's a problem that similarly happened in Poltava, where a lady was denied CROC third year, and then she had to send messages across to her friends that she was going to take her life, and I mean, that was a very threatening message. Her friends were up and down looking for her. We were trying to go to pharmacies that are closer to her house just to find out if she had bought any drugs from there, and it was so much of a hell. And it's like, it's the same similar situation that the people are going through and trying to, I mean, take their own lives. And this is not a new news. I mean, it's something that has been happening, and I mean, we think that the people we fall on are most of the times our agents, but they also deny us at a point, or they just leave us helpless, because all these small, as I said, all these guys that come who leave their parents back home, the agent that brought them should be their dad here, so that they can be able to relate to their own students, so that they can be able to have, I mean, if this lady had a good agent that he really relates to, or an old guy in that Ternopil city that he really relates to, or she really relates to, I think if this message was passed to an agent would have been able to intercede better than maybe a colleague who is just a student like you, because he's also scared that I'll be expelled. These things happen in almost all the universities, and I heard that in that same school they expel you for the little thing that you do, just like in Poltava University. That's that medical school. They expect you for the little thing you do, and that is what is causing so many things that all these children go through.
So it all boils down to, or it all goes down to what I was saying.
Yeah.
If we have good student union, a vibrant one, of course.
But you know
now
what?
They are going
the
to
student union. The student union is made up of students, and then if any student go in front or want to be in charge of, maybe let's say, let me lead this group to the dean's office, they are going to support the leader who is a student of that same school, and the target is going to be on that guy. But if it's an agent who is taking them there, or someone who is not even a student,
that is what I'm saying. If we have the leaders, and the leaders are vibrant, they are working very hard, they can come to listen the agreement or talk to the agents, and then they can build a good rapport with the agent, to the extent that when some of these things happen, the agent will also have that kind of inner will to actually support the student union and so. And look, I want to say one thing: we should not think that, oh, should I be the one to go and say, so that the school administration will actually hunt me or not. When we start to think about that, because trust me, I have personally done a research about the economic benefit of African students in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And based on the research that I did, I know the amount of money that Ukraine makes out of foreign students.
I get it.
And so when it happens that students wake up one day and say that if our students our people are not going to be treated right in your universities. We are not going to allow any African person or to come into Ukraine to study, or look.
Yeah, I get it.
We can all move from here and go to Belarus. It's another neighboring country where they also need foreign students, and we can have better education there. We can go to Estonia. We can go to Poland. Yeah. I have a lot of guys who moved from here to Poland to study. So they are all neighboring countries. So when we also go hard in that direction, trust me, a lot of things will change. Yeah. But we need dedicated people. We need people who are willing to sacrifice. Yeah. That is it. When we do this, it will help. Students will not go through this kind of problems or troubles. Not to even talk.
All right, it's my show. It's my show. I invited you to my show. You don't talk more than me. All right, thank you so much. Our time is up. My producer just signaled me that my time is up. So, thank you so much for coming. And I hope that, if you're not part of the Barry family, Barry TV family, just hit the subscribe button and then subscribe to this YouTube channel. Anytime we release a video, you'll be part of those who would receive it. Okay? And thank you so much for coming. I hope this is very insightful. I'll be back because this video is actually meant for you and your personality, but because of this news that came up, I just want to share your thoughts with my wonderful viewers, and so I'm very grateful that you really accepted to come, and so thank you so much. With my family, see you again. Bye.